Jesus went on with his disciples to the villages of Caesarea Philippi, and on the way he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that I am?" And they answered him, "John the Baptist, and others Elijah, and still others one of the prophets." He asked them, "But who do you say that I am?" Peter answered him, "You are the Messiah." He sternly ordered them not to tell anyone about him. Then he began to teach them that the Son of Man must undergo great suffering and be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. He said to all his quite openly. And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. But turning and looking at his disciples, he rebuked Peter and said, "Get behind me, Satan, for you are setting your mind not on divine things, but on human things." He called the crowd with his disciples and said to them, "If anyone wants to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For those who want to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for my sake and for the sake of the gospel will save it." Good morning. Welcome to a short biblical reflection on the gospel according to Mark, chapter 8, verses 27 up to 35. It is the profession of faith by Peter and the first prediction of the passion and the resurrection of Jesus, the gospel reading for 24th Sunday in Ordinary Time, Year B. In this text, we can distinguish three parts. The first one is Peter's profession of faith from verses 27 up to 30. Then we have the first prediction of the passion and the resurrection of Jesus from verses 31 up to 33. And from verse 34, it is just only part of it, Jesus now describes the condition of following him, that those who want to follow him must take their cross and follow Jesus. Since we find it in other synoptic gospels, let us now make comparison. In the gospel according to Luke and Mark, the profession of faith of St. Peter is shorter, while in Matthew is longer, so there are also added verses after when Peter stated, "You are the Son, the Christ, the Son of the living God." Then Jesus tells him, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, because flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the powers of death shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." So in the Gospel according to Matthew, there is more emphasized this positive stress on Peter, that not only he made the profession, but also Jesus explains why, because it was given to him, and also gives him now the power to loose and to bound things on earth as it is in heaven. While concerning the first prediction of the death and resurrection of Jesus, in Lucan Gospel is shorter, while in Mark and in Matthew we have this statement when Jesus now reacts to Peter very strongly. And let me now read from the version according to Matthew. "And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, 'God forbid, Lord, this shall never happen to you.' But he turned and said to Peter, 'Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me, because you are not mindful of the things of God, but of the things of men.'" So with the synoptic comparison, especially with Matthew, we see that there is very strong emphasis on positive and negative description of Peter, up and down. Peter is up because he makes this great profession of faith, recognizes Jesus as the Messiah. In Matthew's Gospel, also emphasis is that he has received it. It was not because of his human ability, and also is giving him a special mission. Why now Peter shows that he is also very human. He cannot accept the fact that Jesus has to suffer Of course, he's not thinking about his resurrection. Therefore, Jesus is using very strong words. Get behind me, Satan. Because Peter is not thinking according to divine standard, but human standard. And of course, we could also refer to other stories in the Gospels, for example, the triple denial of Peter, because Peter still needs to mature, needs to grow in his faith. But at the end of his life, he'll be able to sacrifice himself, as Jesus now describes it in the conditions set up for his followers, that those who want to follow him must take up their cross and follow him. Peter was then later on ready to do it, and he died for Christ. And that story is also good and important for us, because whenever we see that our faith is weak, we can see that also Peter needed time. So we need also time to mature, to grow in our faith. I would like to wish you a nice day and good, fruitful reflection on this gospel reading. God bless you.